TOMz.
Dumelang all you beautiful South Africans, and welcome to your favorite science and technology show right here on SABC 1, Mzansi for sure.
And as we fail to bring you the coolest science and technology trends as in Mzansi. Namhlanje we're going to be learning more about maps. So different kinds of maps is now. How do maps work and why do we use them today?
Ibile hape re batla ithuta gore di map di originator ko kae. Re share some cool technologies, and we're also going to show you gore batho ba mo Mzansi bona ba sebedisa jwang knowledge ya bona ya di map in everyday life.
Okay, cool. What is a thematic map? What is a Google Mapmaker? Isn't this abesifunda ngazo namhlanje on today's show? Khona manje, let's check out the highlights on today's episode.
Learn all about map making and the different kinds of maps links on today.
Join us masilandela Anele sibone ukuthi Google Mapmaker inceda kanjani.
Find out what trackers do as we celebrate one of SA's legendary trackers. Find out how easy it is to bala a map. Discover the history of map making. Ufumane the coolest smartphone map application in the world. And listen up as our experts share some great career advice on today's show.
What exactly is a map? What different types of maps do we get and what are their functions? Yini land surveyor, and what is tracking all about? Samile Sebuza, I'm a fans with TOMz, and this is what you guys had to say. Check it out.
A map is something that shows directions of where to go.
Ile gama direction ukuthi indawo kanje nanje va.
Sebenzisa map for ukuthola ama directions wala uya khona.
Sebenzisa map so that you can find places like
I don't know my types of maps.
Ayangwaza ngizange geography.
Cha ngazi ngazula ngayo.
ngingazwa ngeland survey angaze ngizwe ngeland survey.
No.
Survey.
Trekking. Like imoto sorry.
I-trekking boma yani like kanje.
I don't know trekking.
Checking. Ngingishilo ngizange geography. Those guys angizikini.
Original angazi sasiwa.
Angazi ukuthi ama-map asikako.
Angwazi ukuthi avelaphi ama-map.
Bengisebenzisa ngisesesikoleni right now.
Angayisebenzisi.
Bengiyisebenzisa esikolweni mara manje angisayisebenzisi.
No, I don't use map.
Map comes from the Latin word mappa, ring napkin kapa pampiri, hobaling these are the materials tsene ba di sebedisa matsatsing a kgale hore ba kgone ho draw di map mo ho tsona. Di map di kgona ho present lefatshe la rona in a simple visual way. Hona jwanong a re samerlo ithuta more about di map tse re nang le tsona ka tjekolena. Physical maps are used to represent different physical features of an area, jwalo ka di water bodies, mountain ranges and deserts. And political maps tsona re di sebedisa ho bona regions of governance. Thematic maps display information about a specific theme. For example, such a map e kgona ho bontsha hore ditaemane di fumana kae and where they are mined throughout the world. Or another can show the number of internet users across the globe. These maps can be about anything. Re phela in a digital age mo ileng hore di technology tse tshwanang le Google Earth and Google Maps di teng. Google Earth is a virtual map of our globe that displays geographical information via the internet.
Google Maps can be used on your computer or your mobile device. It is the world's most popular smartphone app that offers satellite imagery, street maps, and street views. And it's also to plan a route of traveling.
Re tlakanele a Googler o tsebang haholo about Google Maps, iblaneng yena o tlo re bolella about Google Mapmaker, a program e leng hore ya o dumella hore wena o ede ebile hape o updated geographic information on Google Maps and on Google Earth.
Wow, check this out.
Hi, I'm Brett Sinclair, the Enterprise Country Manager for Google South Africa. Internet usage in South Africa has definitely hit a tipping point. 2-3 years ago, there were about 8-9 million people. We're now at 16.2 million smartphone users and over 20 million internet users. And the maturity has evolved from just browsing on social networks to doing e-commerce transactions, buying things on the web, mapping the world. Mapping the world is so important because it's the digital representation of what's around you and in your community. Some of the important things. I personally am a big fan of pizza. So let's go to Google Maps. And what you'd usually have to do is you'd have to put in a set of coordinates if you had a GPS unit. What's great about Google Maps is I can literally just type pizza. Now on my phone, I can go to my phone and speak to it, and we can ask for our nearest pizza place. So here we go, I found Calcaccio's. I can go back to Google Maps and I can say, actually, I want to go there. So let me click direction. It asks me, where do I want to go from? Well, I'd like to go from home. So I literally type home, I click it, and it says, Brett, if you're driving, to drive to Calcaccio's in Athol, there are a number of different routes. It tells me some routes have a lot of traffic, so we know how busy the roads are. And it says other routes aren't, so I can actually kind of plan my route. And I can say, if I go that way, it's going to take me 25 minutes. But if I take a slightly longer way via Santon, it's going to take me 24 minutes. So Google Maps really helps us find places and get there easily. I can then take my phone, and my phone will talk to me and tell me which way I need to go, left, right, at which intersections, and it'll show me a satellite view. So when I get to an intersection, it breaks into something called Street View. Street View is awesome because I get to see what's around me. So it's really sophisticated technology made easy. If we look carefully here, we've got a number of different layers. So we've got a satellite view here where the photos are taken via satellite, and they have to be high definition photos so that when I zoom in, so let me zoom into, say, Santon, the definition is incredible. And then what we do is, see all these photos at the bottom? It is literally showing me where that photo was taken, and I can click on it and go to it. Now there's something called Street View, which is my absolute favorite. And we've got a little Street View man in the corner who I'm going to pick up and drag him, kicking and screaming. Not really, he loves being dragged around. And I'm going to drop him into the map. Now I can do this on my phone as well, my smartphone, and I can start looking around and having a look at what the area looks like. And I can wander down the road if I want to.
Must be funda kabanzi about tracking as we celebrate SA's legendary trackers. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Find out what tracking is all about. How to celebrate a legendary South African tracker and see how easy it is to read a map.
TOMz.
You guys are still tuned in to TOMz, Konalagu SABC 1 Mzansi for show. The only show in Patela, some cool science and technology in Zagala Lime Cabin.
All about maps. Not only that, but we want to learn all about the cool mapping technologies.
So namhlanje sabesinifundisa ukuthi imap uyifunda kanjani, learning more about tracking and land surveying, and of course, getting some cool career advice from my guest on today's episode.
Don't forget our social session that's going to be coming up in a bit. On our Facebook and our Twitter pages. So resealing the comment is alone.
But first, before we go there, let's check out what's coming up next.
Find out what tracking is all about. How to celebrate a legendary South African tracker and see how easy it is to read a map. Tracking is the science and the art of learning about a region by looking at the pieces of evidence in the surrounding environment. South Africa is home to many amazing trackers. Iblaning legend Terna Yakacheku is one of them. Well, let's go find out.
I don't have the clear definition, but what I know is it helps, the police, the security to somehow find your phone when it's lost, your car.
It's a small device, a computer device that they put in other bigger devices.
Tracking is when we need an object or something that to get a location, to find the location of it.
No.
A person.
Not really, actually.
Yeah, Raymond Edward.
Ukara Poki Panadi was along 1963 at Bedford West. At a young age, what joined Ubaba can nagagela imvu and setting traps for predators. Youngele experience Yamians the master tracker he is today. At the age of 14, he joined Sand Parks and worked as a field ranger, researcher tracker at the Karoo National Park. As a data capturing device, Pogi collected the info for the publication of a scientific paper describing the feeding habits of black rhinos in the Karoo. Waqala ukutraina amanye ama-tracker at the Tracker Academy of Samara Game Reserve ngo-2010. Waziwa kakhulu as the master tracker in South Africa. What a legend.
Igama nesibongo Anele Zondo, and right now I'm here at LX to come update my Google Mapmaker. Inokuza la LX, and what happens is I get lost most of the time. So I'm just here to get some landmarks in order to find the place where I'm going. Okay, technology isiza ngokuthi njengamanje siyakwazi ukutholana hayi ngephepha nepeni, but nasemafonini kulula ukuthi ngakutshela ukuthi ngikuphi ngalendlela le ngathatha isithombe nje ngiyoyifaka ku internet and kulula kakhulu. I-advantage ye Google's Mapmaker ukuthi ukwazi ukubona isithombe as of mhlambe you are given a map and it's only got a name. It's kind of hard to find because you don't really know how it looks like. So if you're able to see a place, then when you pass it, uzokhona ukubona ukuthi oh nak lapha kumele ngibe khona or kumele ngijike ngala or ngalana. Njengamanje, I'm at a rehab center on 8th Avenue. There's a lot of rehab centers around here, but now you know what you're gonna find it because nasi sithombe khona ama posters everywhere, and if you put that on Google Maps, then kuzoba lula ukuthola. Okay, so hey Brett, we were at 8th and Richard Beloy. I've got the pictures here, we're in Alexander, and I just want to know how do we now get the pictures onto the map?
So what we're going to do is take the photo of 8th and Richard Beloy, that one over there. Okay, fantastic. Then what we're going to do is we're literally going to open up Google Street Mapmaker, and we're going to do two things. So the first thing is we're going to go to Richard Beloy on the corner of 8th Avenue. So I'm going to go into Google Mapmaker and I'm going to go to Richard Beloy, corner, 8th Avenue, Alexander. Hey? Now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly put in a point of interest. And a point of interest is a place where we literally say, drop a little pin, which is that little red pin, and we're going to give it a name, and we're literally going to call it, what was the name of the center that you guys went to? Lifeline Center. Give it another name, fantastic. And there you go. Now we have our point of interest. Now you said you wanted to upload the photo, is that right?
Yes, the photo that I took.
You're going to do a search for Google Picture View. And Google Picture View is exactly like Street View, but for pictures. And we're going to go find our photo by uploading it from the computer. And go to Pictures. There's our picture over there. And we're going to upload it. And the great thing is, not only are we going to upload it, but we're going to tell that picture where is corner of Richard Beloy and 8th Street. And we're going to map it to the centers and save.
Ama-city planners asebenzisa i-map decide where to build what. Ama-meteorologists asebenzisa weather maps to prepare forecasts. And ama-road users asebenzisa ama-maps to plot their routes. So, how do we read a map, and what are the terms that we need to know? Check this out.
Scala sa map is to indicate the relationship between the distances on a map and the actual distances on Earth. The most common type of graphic scale is the bar scale, a simple horizontal line marked off in kilometers. Size of the area covered is determine the scale of the map. Category maps are often computerized and they allow you to zoom in and out, changing the scale of the map. The map setting include a grid pattern or a series of crossing lines that create squares and rectangles. The grid is relocate a place on a map. On small-scale maps represent a large area, is a continent. The grid is often made up of latitude and longitude lines. The intersection of latitude and longitude lines, called coordinates, can identify the location of a place. Throughout history, some great career tips and advice from the guests. You definitely don't want to miss this. Itutika, the oldest existing map in the world, and check out some cool applications for your smartphone. TOMz. Hello, kona ufika ngontosha belete TOMz wana mo SABC 1 Mzansi for sure.
The only show that brings you all the coolest and greatest science and technology la emhlabeni. And in Emhlabeni we're learning more about maps. Thola kabanzi, why and how do we use maps in the 21st century?
Re ithutile ka the history of maps. Re le bontse hape some great digital technologies. Ebile hape re le bontse hore go sebedisa di map go bonolo haholo.
Ningakhohlwa bafethu ukuthi we still have social sessions coming a little bit later on the show. So if I got saying the shout outs, all you gotta do is log on now. Send us a tweet, send us a Facebook post, and who knows, we might sending a shout out to you.
So in the meantime, while you tweet away, here's what's still to come. Ithuteng hore di map ntse di a di fetoha jwang throughout history. Get the world's most popular map application on your phone. And listen up as our guests share some great career advice Liluna at the end of today's show.
One of the world's oldest existing map was found on a stone tablet in Spain, dating back to almost 1400 years ago. Do you guys know your history of maps? Well, if you don't, let's go find out more right now.
The ancient Greeks were the founders of scientific cartography. Ngokubheka ilanga nokusebenzisa mathematics, they were able to calculate the general size and shape yomhlaba wethu. They also developed the grid system of longitude and latitude. Around the 15th century, sailors began traveling further on the oceans, and they added newly discovered lands and more detailed coastlines on their maps. Cartography became more advanced during the 19th century with the development of printing processes known as lithography. Namhlanje, instead of using paper maps, abantu abaningi basebenzisa ama-GPS units that communicate with the satellite to determine different locations la emhlabeni.
Re botsetse our Googler about the technologies that he uses and how you can use them too. So check it out.
In order to make my life a lot easier, especially when I'm mapping, I like to use a couple of things. The first thing is a smartphone, because I want to create photos and create geotagged photos. I then use my computer a lot, because you really need a computer with internet access to be able to load the photos on, but also change the maps and edit the maps and get the maps reviewed.
Google Maps for mobile is the world's most popular app for smartphones. It gives you great features like satellite imagery, street maps, street views, namanye ama-functions afana nokuplana ama-route and navigating through the country. Mangabuhlala la eJozi, then the Gautrain app is just as cool. Ayikuniki kuphela ama-mapping routes ahlukile, kodwa it also gives you schedules, pricing and more. Mangabufuna ukuba street smart and know your way around, thola lama apps efonini yakho, and for more info, sivakashele ku www.tomz.co.za and follow the links. What's up, everybody? Time for another social session here on TOMz, where we chat to you live via social media. Namhlanje ku Twitter, I have John saying ukuthi una Google Maps efonini yakhe and he would be lost without it. You know what, John? I know what you mean.
That's
we
true.
Can't seem to go without these technologies, ngoba they're just so awesome.
I've got Alicia on Facebook. Otiana, she thinks the different kinds of maps that Sotola Namhlanje are amazing. It really is, Alicia. I mean, nowadays, Abantu, they can almost map anything. And about what Gutama scientists have mapped the surface of our moon and planet Mars by actually taking pictures of space. How cool is that?
That is so fantastic.
I know, right?
Amazing. Okay, lastly, I have Josijo on Twitter saying hi to all his friends watching TOMz and that he always watches the show. Well, Josijo, you've been doing a fantastic job. Keep watching.
And Josijo, don't forget to tell your friends to also tune in to TOMz. And as always, Buffett, we've got our guest on today's show to give us some words of inspiration. Right now, Asami Nsobo Nogutbazutini, because this is for you.
What's great about today's world is that you can literally do anything. But in order to do anything, especially in the world of mapping and cartography, and even the world of internet, if I look at working for Google even, you need to do one thing, and you need to do that well, and that's mathematics. You need to learn how to add 1 + 1, going all the way through to understanding very in-depth algorithms. It's really important because all of this is mathematics. So at school, work hard, be proud of being a geek, because being a geek is what's going to get you far in life. What kind of courses do you need to do? Well, it can range anything from university courses doing a Bachelor of Science degree to doing something more practical with a diploma that's around literally mapping out roads. They're called surveys. So you can range it from a diploma, which is very hands-on, to something that is very academic, especially around universities. Either or are incredibly important. If you don't have the opportunity to go to tertiary education, go to YouTube. Go find on YouTube all these courses like Khan Academy, code.org that'll teach you A, maths, B, physics, geography, and even how to computer program. Because in today's world, everyone will be surrounded by computer technology. So if you aren't fortunate to go to a university or to a diploma, go YouTube it. The options are there for everyone. Career options are pretty broad. You can literally end up working for engineering firms. And when I mean engineering firms, it's actually quite broad these days, because you could end up working for people who make buildings and build roads, physical engineering, or electrical engineering, where you'll be putting together electronic components to allow people to map better. Components like the cameras on top of street view cars, to as far out as working for a company like Google. And who would have thought that Google would be geography or mapping experts? We know everything about mapping now. And you might even find yourself, if you decide to even be a mechanical engineer, and that's someone who builds or fixes cars, because guess what? Cars are going to be driverless cars, and they're using all this information like Street View, maps, satellites, and all this cartography information to drive people around. And in 5-10 years' time, you could be part of that world.
For more information on today's episode, all you got to do is go onto our website at www.tomz.co.za. And then to keep on socializing with us on our social media. But before we go anywhere, what did we discover on today's episode? Let's go get it.
We look at the different types of maps. We look at physical maps, we are two thematic maps.
Silandele uAnele Alex sabona ukuthi iGoogle Mapmaker uyisebenzisa kanjani ukuyenza impilo yakhe ibe lula.
Re tracking ibile ra celebrator legendary South African tracker Karel Poki Bernardi. We showed you guys how easy it is hore ubale map le hore di scale le di grid di sebetsa ka tsela tse fe. We looked at the history of cartography and found out why the ancient Greeks are considered to be the founders of scientific cartography. Re shared some cool mapping applications. Ibile ra fumana some great career advice from our guests on today's show. So if you want more information, check out www.tomz.co.za and check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. And that's it from us, guys. TOMz. Next time for some more awesome and amazing science and technology.
SABC 1 Mzansi for Shizzle, your boy Fresh by Caddy.
And that's Kamulitsusa.
TOMz, we are
out of here.
Next time on TOMZ.
Me and my friends discover how paper recycling works.
Find out how you can make your own paper.
Learn what you can make from recycled paper.
And it's how recycled paper can be turned into cardboard boxes.
Catch TOMz every Monday and Tuesday at 4 p.m. only here on SABC 1
Mzansi for sure.